today, what do I have planned? Let's start today in a comfortable seated position. So option for you, we can have legs crossed, you can have legs straight. If you want to sit up on the blanket or any prop that you grabbed, maybe a towel, a little pillow, anything you had, that can be nice for the hips and the sits bones. So wherever you are, beginning to settle into the earth, beginning to settle into your breath. Maybe closing the eyes. Feeling one long line of energy up the spine. Feeling the sits bones root into the earth. And feeling that energy flow up the spine and reach out the crown of the head up towards the sky. With every inhale, feeling the rib cage expand, the ribs reach out towards all sides of the room. And with the exhale, allowing the ribs to knit down and in. Imagining like there's a balloon inside of your chest, inside of your rib cage. And on the inhale, it fills with air. The ribs reach out to all sides of the room. And on the exhale, closing the ribs, knitting them down in front. Good, feeling that balloon deflate with air. And as you move through these breaths, seeing if any energy is stirring up in you, anything that's going on with you right now, any anxiety, any panic. And if you find any energy, seeing if you can notice where it's showing up. Maybe in the shoulders, maybe in the jaw or the face. And if you notice the areas where this tension, this energy is showing up, seeing if you can soften there. Inviting that stirred up energy, that anxious energy to make its way out of the body, sending it out the fingertips, sending it out the crown of the head, sending it down into the earth, out the sits bones. And as this energy leaves the body, allowing space for new, calm, peaceful, grounded energy. Keeping the heart open, keeping the chest open. And with this new, clear, peaceful energy in your heart space, sending energy and love out to all of the people around the world. Maybe someone specific, a friend, a loved one, maybe a community, maybe all communities. Allowing your open heart to receive love and support from others all around the world who may be sending it right back to you. As you are ready, Beginning to slowly open the eyes, come back to this room. Planting the hands behind you when you are ready, and bringing soles of the feet to the earth. And beginning by windshield wiping the knees side to side. Maybe inhaling as the knees come through center and exhaling as the knees come to the side. Good. Slowing down, seeing if you can keep this movement with the breath. And the next time that the knees come over to your right side, letting them stay there. The left arm can lift up and it can meet the right hand at the back of your hip for a little bit of a twist. And this might be plenty for you this morning. Or maybe lowering down onto the forearms, maybe lowering down onto a block or a blanket on the forearm, maybe coming all the way down to the earth, letting the head rest on the block or right on the earth. Good. Breathing wherever you are. And on your next breath, pressing back up onto the hands, sweeping the left arm up towards the sky, getting an opening in the chest, shining that energy of the heart. And on the exhale, coming back through center, and you can windshield wipe a couple of times before sending the legs over to the left side. And it's okay if your knees are more stacked or not as stacked, not attached to that. Right arm is going to sweep up and meet the left at the back of the mat. Maybe staying tall, maybe this is plenty of twist for you. Maybe lowering onto forearms or onto a prop. Or maybe lowering all the way onto the head and the chest if that's comfortable for you. These are your options. And as you are ready, pressing back up into the hands, sweeping the right arm open up towards the sky, getting a nice opening through the chest. And coming back through center, and we'll send the legs long and we'll shake them out, maybe give them a little pitter patter. Good. Coming to a wide-legged forward fold. And so this can be wider or more narrow than mine, doesn't matter, whatever feels comfortable for you. It doesn't need to be the absolute widest range that's available, so somewhere that's fairly comfortable. Wherever you are, rooting down into the sits bones, thinking nice tall spine. Each bone, each vertebrae in the spine is stacked one on top of the other. Head is in line with the spine and not forward in texting land. And seeing if you can find your breath here. On the next exhale, switch sides quick. On the next exhale, beginning to walk the hands towards the feet, folding at the hips, but keeping a nice flat back in the spine. So instead of rolling and just trying to see how far you can go, we're keeping a nice extended spine, a little ab engagement. Good, maybe it's not that far at all, no big deal. And on your next breath, beginning to walk the hands over towards the right leg. Maybe the hands frame the knee or the thigh. Good, and we're gonna plant that right arm inside of the right leg. So just coming down onto the forearm, lifting the left arm up and reaching up over the ear, over the head, sort of aiming to those right toes. Good, getting a nice stretch through the left side of your body. And on the next inhale, coming back through center. Starting to walk the hands over towards the left leg. Hands can frame the thigh or the knee. Finding a nice tall spine, a nice flat back. As we fold over that leg, the left arm can come to the inside of the leg on the forearm, really wherever is comfortable. For me on this side, it's not really comfortable at all. So I'm gonna give a little prop here. And we're gonna sweep the right arm up and over by the ear, reaching towards your toes. I am mirroring you guys, so if I'm confusing you with my left and rights, that's probably why. But don't worry about it, we're gonna do both sides for everything, so just pick a side and roll with it. Good. Inhaling back up through center. And we'll bring the legs back to center and shaking them out, making any wiggles that you need. And then making your way into a tabletop. I'm gonna try to block out some of this sun. So coming to hands and knees. Coming to hands and knees. A blanket might be a good option underneath the knees here. So I'm gonna keep that as an option for you guys. Rooting into the hands. Hips should be stacked above knees and shoulders stacked above wrists. As we inhale, tailbone lifts, crown lifts up towards the sky. Chest begins to shine through the biceps. Exhaling, tucking the tail, rounding the back, and letting the head go. Inhaling back through cow, tail lifts, crown lifts. And exhaling, rounding the back, tucking the tail. Continuing to flow at your pace. Inhaling through cow pose and exhaling through cat. Taking your time. Good, taking one more round. And the next time that you come through tabletop, making some big rolls of the hips. So bringing the hips over towards one side and then the other, making some big circles here. And maybe the circles are a little smaller or bigger. This might look different person to person. And reversing those hip circles, heading the other direction. And the next time that you come through to tabletop, rooting back into our nice strong table. So if hands had to come forward a little for that, bringing them back underneath of the shoulders, checking in knees or under hips. Really Rooting down, I'm gonna turn so you guys can see me. I'm probably gonna keep switching back and forth, so don't worry about that. Rooting down into hands and feet. We're gonna sweep the right arm open towards the side wall, getting up, shining the chest open, shining that heart towards the side wall. And as you exhale, threading your arm beneath the opposite armpit, and maybe the back of the hand comes to the earth, maybe the arm or the shoulder come to the earth, maybe the head comes to earth, block, towel, some sort of prop. For a little, thread the needle. Maybe the left fingertips walk forward towards the front of your mat. Or maybe it sweeps around your low back for a bind. Remembering to breathe wherever you are here. If you have a bind with your arm or it is out towards the front, beginning to walk that hand back under the shoulder. Pressing down into the earth to lift up and sweeping that arm open. Good. Maybe making some circles with the shoulders if that feels necessary for you before we set up for the other side. So coming back to your nice strong table, rooting into the right hand, and this time left arm sweeps open towards the side wall. Seeing if you can let the movement come from the rib cage, so you're really opening that chest and not just cranking on the shoulder. And as you exhale, threading the arm between opposite wrist and knee, coming down to the earth if it's available. Maybe staying here, maybe the hand comes to the earth, maybe arm, shoulder, head. This is a great place for blocks, towels, blankets, whatever you've got. Once you're cozy here, option to walk fingertips towards the front of the mat or to bind the right arm behind the back. Bringing right hand back underneath of the right shoulder at your pace to press into the earth, lifting up, unthreading the arm, and taking a little counter stretch and opening. Good. Maybe rolling out the shoulder if that feels good. And then coming back to tabletop. Stepping the hands forward just a step. And shifting the weight forward into sort of a modified plank. And then really pressing the earth away from you like you were squeezing a ball between your elbows, really engaging through the arms and allowing the chest to come forward through the bicep for a little back bend. As you exhale, engaging abs, pulling hips back towards the heels, towards child's pose. And then inhaling right back to that modified plank. Chest shines through the biceps, really engaging the arms for a back bend. Good. And continuing to flow through this, exhaling to child. Inhaling to your back bend. taking your own pace. Maybe it's faster, maybe it's slower. And if you want to hang out in child's for a few breaths or hang out in the back bend if that feels good, definitely an option to do so. And the next time that you make your way to child's pose, allowing yourself to stay there, letting big toes touch, knees can come wide, and letting the hips settle back to the heels. Forehead can come to the block, a blanket, the earth, whatever you have. Palms up towards the ceiling can be a good break for the wrist. Or arms down by the sides can be comfortable as well. Finding an option that works for you this morning. Seeing if you can relax here in the jaw, in the brow, in the shoulders, anywhere that you may be holding tension, anywhere that anxiety or energy is starting to stir up. Maybe rolling the brow side to side on the earth, giving it a little massage. And as you are ready, no rush to get there, beginning to lift the hips, coming through tabletop, making your way, bringing your hands towards you to make your way up to a standing kneeling position. So take your time to meet me here. I'm gonna give you guys a second to get here. Once you are in your kneeling position, the toes can be tucked to help you balance, or you can be shoelace sides of the foot down. Sending the right leg long on the mat next to you, so the hips are still squared off towards the front, so you don't want the leg too far forward or behind you, but sort of in line with the hip. Good. The sole of the foot can stay down here. Right arm is going to come to the thigh without bearing weight, but just resting here, and the left arm is going to sweep up. On an inhale, thinking long line of energy through the body, reaching up through the crown towards the sky. And on the exhale, taking a little side bend over that leg. Good. Inhaling back up to a nice tall spine. And exhaling, bending, going the same way. One more. Inhaling to nice and tall. And exhaling, side bend. This time, as we inhale back up to center, letting the right arm come down to the earth and sweeping the left arm by the ear and over the head for a nice long side bend stretch. A block, blanket, towel, pillow, whatever you've got is good under the hands here. Prop, I should just start saying. Good, getting a nice long stretch between the ribs. Maybe allowing the head to peek through this arm and look up at the sky, if that feels safe on the mat. Maybe letting that chest shine through and up a little bit. And if you can see the difference, that was very minute, but starting here, and the hips sort of come forward, the chest comes forward and shines up. Good option to hover that back leg if you want a little challenge today. On your next inhale, pressing into the earth and using the right side abdominals to pull you back up to center. Good. Hands can plant in front of you. And beginning to walk the hands out for a little down dog variation. So thinking down dog here, but we've still got this leg extended. Good, getting a little stretch to the inner thigh. Maybe the hip, maybe the back of the leg could be different for you. Good. Walking the hands just slightly in to bring that right knee to meet the left. Walking the hands forward again for a little puppy pose. So puppy looks a lot like child's pose, and I'm going to show you from sideways so you can see. Puppy looks a lot like child's pose, except for that the hips are stacked above the heels. So where we would normally come back into child's pose, we're staying up and walking the hands forward. And maybe the head comes to the earth or a block. This can be a really intense chest opener. So only going where you can still breathe and where it feels like a safe place for you to be. If you prefer child's pose here, feel free to take it. Good, one more breath. And slowly beginning to lift the chest back up and walking the hands in towards you to come back up to a standing kneel. Beautiful, beautiful. This time sending the left leg out to the side. The foot can plant on the earth. If it's not comfortable to keep the foot down, I'm okay if it pops up. Shifting the hips forward so the hip is stacked right over the knee and not down here or out here. Seeing if we can keep the hips level. The left hand is going to come down to the leg and the right arm sweeps up. Inhale, a nice long tall spine. And exhale, side bending over that leg. Inhaling back to nice tall spine. And exhaling, side bend. Good. Inhaling one last time, nice and tall. And exhaling to side bend. Good. This time as we inhale through center, allowing the right arm to come to the earth or a prop, and letting the left arm reach up and by the ear for a side bend. Good. Maybe that option to shine the chest through. Gaze can reach up towards the sky. You might notice how that changes the stretch. If it's too much for the neck, you can look down or straight in front of you. Good. Getting a nice opening in all those muscles between the ribs. Option to hover the leg if you want a little bit of a challenge. Lowering the leg if it's lifted. And on your next breath, really pressing into that hand and engaging left side abdominals. to sweep you back up to a kneel. Hands plant on the earth in front and walking arms out in front of you for a down dog gate pose variation. Letting the head go, maybe shaking it no or yes. Good. Beginning to walk the hands back, lifting the chest first, walk the hands back in towards you. And we'll tuck that left leg in to meet the right. Let the knees go wide, big toes touch, and hips come to heels for child's pose. Same options as usual. Hands can be down by the sides. They can be out in front of you. Palms can flip up towards the sky. It's a gesture of receiving, a nice little break for the wrist. Or maybe hands are down by the earth, grounding down. A few more breaths. And as you are ready, lifting the hips, coming back through a tabletop, stepping the hands forward just a step once you get there, and no rush, we'll all take our time to tuck the toes and lift our hips, sending them up into the sky for downward dog. Good. Pressing into the palms of the hands like you were peeling your mat towards the front of the room. Really engaging the arms, wrapping shoulder blades down and back. Keeping as much of a bend as you need in the knees. And the goal here is to send the hips up towards the sky, not so much to make the heels go down. So if it looks some version of this or this, just bend the knees and send the hips up. And playing a little here, maybe shaking the head no or yes. Maybe bending one knee and then the other, walking your dog this morning, your metaphorical dog. And as you are ready, beginning to tiptoe the feet towards the hands, taking as many steps as you need to come to a forward fold. Hands can come to the earth or a prop. Maybe hands grab opposite elbows, or maybe fingers interlaced behind the skull. Relaxing here and seeing if you can find your breath. Good. And on your next breath, letting go of any bind that you have, letting the arms hang heavy, and really rooting into the feet, beginning to roll up to a stand, taking your time to get there, no rush. And meeting in a standing position. Give you guys a little different view here. As you are ready, rooting down into the, this cat is right in the way. She's got to be front and center. She's a princess. So rooting down into your feet, Thinking nice and engaged legs, nice and engaged hips. On an inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And on the exhale, hands come to heart center. Good, 2 more times, inhaling, rooting down, arms sweep up. And exhaling, hands to heart. Good, 1 more time, inhaling, arms sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good, letting the arms be wherever they're comfortable. And checking in first that the head is back in space over the spine. So we have a tendency to live with our heads out here in foam computer land. So seeing if that head can come back on top of the spine, and then gently chucking the chin to the chest. As you breathe on the exhale, beginning to roll over to the right side until the right ear meets the right shoulder. Meets is a strong word, they probably won't actually meet, but when the right ear is towards the right shoulder. Good, on your next breath, exhaling back through center, chin to chest, and inhaling left ear over to the left shoulder. Exhaling back, chin to chest, and inhaling to the right. So continuing to flow through this, going at your own pace and going at a range that works for your neck. I've heard a lot of people talking about having trouble sleeping at night, neck and shoulder pain with everything going on right now. A lot of teeth clenching and stress. So just being sure to move gently. Be kind to your body today. Beautiful. And the next time that you find that your right ear is to your right shoulder, no rush to get there, but when you do, taking a second to pause there. Maybe playing with the tuck of the chin, in towards the shoulder, or out towards the front of the room. Seeing how that changes the conversation on the left side of the neck. Maybe that left arm reaches out towards the side of the room, and seeing how that changes the conversation in the front of the shoulder or in that area right behind the collarbone. Good, and a little freedom to explore, moving the head around a teeny bit. Move the arm forward or backward or down or up. Find where your sweet spot is here. Good, a few more breaths. And on your next breath, as you exhale, bringing that arm back in towards the side, and gently tucking chin through your chest and heading over to the left side. If the right side feel really good for you and you want to hang out there, that's fine too. I don't have a lot of rules for my yoga. So once you make it to the other side, playing again with the tuck of the chin, or maybe how lifted or lowered the chin is. Maybe extending that right arm out towards the side. Checking in with this shoulder with the space behind the collarbone. Sending breath into these areas, these sticky areas. Right, and as you are ready, taking your last couple of breaths. And bringing that arm back in towards the side. Gently rolling the chin back in towards the chest. And then using the hand, not touching too much of your face, just maybe not even touching your face today, what with coronavirus, and gently lifting the head back up to a tall stand. Good, beautiful. Gonna have to modify a little for face touching. Rooting into the feet, thinking a nice, tall, long line of energy. And on the inhale, sweeping arms up overhead. And on the exhale, folding over the leg. Good. Inhaling to a halfway lift. Hands come to the shins or the thighs. Thinking a nice flat back. And on the exhale, folding. Rooting into the feet, rolling all the way up to a stand. Arms sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart. Good. One more time with this sun breath. Rooting into the feet, inhaling, sweeping arms up. And exhaling, swan dive to fold. Good. Inhale to a half lift, a nice flat back here. And exhale to fold. Good. Letting the hands hang here in the fold. And you're going to allow the fingertips to gently graze the earth, lowering the seat back towards the heels and lifting the arms up overhead for chair pose. Good. We'll put a little heat here today. Thinking of squeezing the legs together, letting the hips, thinking of the hips dropping back more than the knees going forward. So letting those hips, like when you're in a gas station and you're using the gas station bathroom and you're sweating on the toilet and you're like, ew, this is so gross. That's the thought we want, really sending the hips back. On the next exhale, bringing hands through to center. And on our next exhale, folding over those legs. Good, letting it all go, shaking it out a little. Setting up for a little Padangusthasana. So fingertips, peace fingers can grab big toes. Maybe hands clasp the ankles. But bending the knees as much as you can so you can grab onto the toes or wherever you have access to. On the inhale, lifting up as much as space as you have to your flat back. And on the exhale, pulling on the toes, letting the elbows come out to the side and sinking in. We'll do that a couple of times just to warm up. So inhaling, flat back, still holding on to those toes, feeling a little stretch in the shoulders. And exhaling, pulling yourself down into that fold. Good, one more time. Inhaling, nice flat back. And exhaling to fold. Good, letting the head hang, letting the arms stay a little engaged. And as you are ready, letting go of the bind with the toes, planting the hands on the earth, bending the knees as much as you need to do so, and stepping the feet back to a down dog. Good. Yeah, maybe checking in here, maybe walking the dog a little, maybe shaking the head, yes or no, really letting it go. Pressing into those hands. And on your next breath, lowering the knees to the earth, sending them wide, letting big toes touch, and hips come to heels for child's pose. Taking any of the options for child's pose that feel good for you. Checking in with the body again and seeing if there's any areas that can relax here in child. Maybe rolling the brow side to side on the earth. Relaxing into the shoulders, the face, the jaw. And as you are ready, taking your few final breaths here in child. Gently lifting the hips as you are ready. And sending the feet to whichever side is more comfortable to make your way down and around onto your back. We're starting to slow down the practice a little this morning. So heading down onto your back in a comfortable lying position. Let's start with the feet bent. Let's start with the legs bent and the feet on the earth. Option, if you've got a block, a blanket, or any sort of prop, a pillow would be a good option here. Anything nearby, keep that near you. We're gonna press into the feet and begin to roll the hips up off of the earth into a bridge position. So a little engagement between the knees here so they're not falling out towards the sides. A little lift in the hips. Making sure once you're up here, not to turn your neck a lot. So looking up at the ceiling, try not to watch me on the video unless you need to. We're gonna take a prop, if you've got one, and plant it underneath of the hips, underneath of the sacrum. And lowering the hips back down onto that blanket, onto that rolled up towel. If you don't have a prop, just coming right back onto the seat, onto the earth, no big deal. Lifting one leg up and then the other leg up. And sending feet up towards the sky for a little legs up. So prop under your hips is a great option. If there's no props under your hips, it's just gonna look like this. No big deal either way. If you have a wall and you would like to put your legs up the wall, also a really good option. So wherever you are, settling in. All of this being at home is going to mean a lot of sitting. So sometimes it's good to get upside down and help keep all the fluids in your body moving. And if you want, you can play with pointing and flexing the feet here or spreading out the toes big and wide. A couple more breaths. And as you are ready, slowly bending one leg at a time and bringing the feet back down to the earth. If you have a prop underneath of you, lifting the hips to slide it out towards the side. Letting the hips come back down to the earth, resting for 1 second with a neutral spine. And then hugging both knees into the chest and maybe rocking a little side to side or making some circles on the low back. Good, setting the feet back down and letting right ankle cross left knee, setting up for figure 4 or pigeon here. And maybe this is plenty. Maybe pressing that knee away from you, that right knee, or maybe bringing the legs in towards the chest, threading the arm in between the legs to grab the back of the left thigh. And if that felt like too much, like immediately too much on the hip, coming back to the first option. If legs lowered is like feels like nothing and legs lifted is agony, a good in between, which we don't always see in classes, is to bring that foot to a block or any other prop you've got just to meet you somewhere halfway. Few more breaths, maybe rocking a little side to side if that feels good. And when you're ready, lowering the legs back to the earth and setting up on the other side. Left ankle can cross the right knee, keeping the foot engaged a little flexed to protect your knee. And the same options are available, maybe using the hand to press the knee away from you. Being gentle here, not being too forceful, especially if you have any knee sensitivity. Maybe bringing legs up towards the chest and grabbing the back of the right thigh. Option to rock a little side to side, or maybe movement is better for you today. Got a few last breaths on this side. Lowering the legs back to the earth as you are ready, and crossing that foot, and maybe windshield wiping the knee side to side. Coming back to how we first started class. And the next time that the knees come over to the right, letting them fall there. Option to keep them a little wider apart or to stack the knees. Also could be a good option to kind of cross the legs. Some people like that. I have a hard time with that one personally. Taking a little supine twist. If it's okay on the neck, gaze can look the opposite direction of the knees. But up at the ceiling or same direction are great options as well. As you are ready, lifting the knees and setting them the other direction. Arms can still be at a T or a goalpost. And if it's okay on the neck, the gaze can look the opposite direction of the knees, but anywhere else is fine too. Few final breaths. here in your twist. Before bringing the knees back up through center and taking any last movements that your body's calling for. So maybe something we already did, maybe another legs up or another pigeon, or hugging in like a ball, or doing a big long stretch. Anything that feels good for you. Before making your way to Shavasana, our final resting pose, maybe putting socks on or another layer, or covering yourself up with a blanket. Coming to a comfortable lying position at your pace. Letting the legs take up as much space as they want on the mat. And letting the arms take up as much space as you need on the mat. Allowing your breath to slow. Doing a little scan of the body here in Shavasana. Relaxing the head, the neck, the shoulders. Relaxing the jaw, settling the rib cage down into the earth. Allowing the pelvis to settle into the earth. And settling into the deep breath of Shavasana. As you are ready, beginning to come back to your body, come back to the room. Checking in with the feel of the earth supporting you. Checking in with the feeling of the air on your skin. Taking your time to make your way to either side in the fetal position. And taking a moment there in this pose of comfort, this pose of safety. Before pressing into the earth, Make your way back to a comfortable seated position. And to close out our practice this morning, we bring our hands to heart center. I wish you all good actions. We bring our hands towards our mouths. I wish you all good words. We bring our hands towards our third eye. I wish you all good thoughts. Thank you for joining me this morning, and namaste.